What is poppin', y'all? I'm here to talk about the changes for Diancie and Carbink. Yes, Carbink can now evolve into Diancie as an option. Yes, Carbink can now hold a Violite. I designed both of them to be equal, like in regards to which. I mean, it's really depending on what playstyle you prefer, right? Diancie is a lot more offensively oriented and also has more flexibility because it's bulkier without a Violite and it can hold any item. If you want to get super technical, the NC is like technically it's more flexible, which could translate to being better in a context like this, specifically a team locked context. So if you read the description down below, that'll give you a lot more context for this ROM hack, the balancing philosophy, and what team locked is. So I recommend you read that if you're new here. If you're returning, shout out to you. I appreciate you coming back to the videos. Make sure you drop a comment. Let me know who you are. And yeah, back on topic. Oh, actually, no. Last thing for the intro. First of all, make sure y'all, drop a like, drop a comment, sub if you haven't already. All that good stuff. It really helps me out and helps support all the crazy work that I put into these games. But most importantly, when you're done with the video, you can check out the Google Sheet link down below. If you haven't checked out the move guide yet and you're a returning viewer, do it. If you're new, check it out after you're done. Look at the Google Sheet. I've got all these moves listed into categories. You can just scroll and understand it pretty easily by just going in order. So make sure you do that. Yeah, so Diancie and Carbink, they're really cool. So as I was trying to say earlier, Diancie's more flexible because it can hold any item. Obviously Carbink can still do like item stuff, right? Like it can still do helmet, Rocky Helmet, for example. It can still do Quick Claw. It can still do some offensive stuff. It's got a solid special attack set. It's got the same coverage moves that Diancie has, minus Mystical Fire. So it's still great in its own right. It's much more defensively oriented, while Diancie is more offensive and like utility. I don't know how to explain it properly. What I'm trying to say is Carbink is, I guess, less flexible than Diancie, but it is obviously very, very bulky. So it's up to which you value more on your personal team, which you prefer playstyle-wise, right? If you just want to sit there and do like Rough Skin, Sediment, or Wish, and just stall things and run Rocky Helmet or whatever, you can do that with Carbink. Solid Rock is also nice just to take like insanely strong, super effective hits with ease. And then Levitate is shared by both of them for obvious reasons. That's a great ability on them as a Rock Fairy, of course. But then Diancie is stronger. And has really cool options in Magic Guard and Bounce. So Magic Guard tends to actually be pretty underwhelming in this ROM hack because it's not competitive, right? It's not 6v6 singles. You're not switching around Stealth Rocks 24/7. It's not a thing. It doesn't work like that. So Magic Guard tends to be very underwhelming unless the Pokemon has a lot of high recoil moves to take advantage of Magic Guard with. Because yeah, like being immune to Toxic is cool and stuff too, but all that is not as common or ubiquitous or even if it does, even if Stealth Rock or Toxic or whatever does show up versus the, with the AI, it's easy to play around without needing to run Magic Guard is the point. So the main allure of Magic Guard is having recoil moves, and in this case, you have access to Stab, Eternal Beam, which is essentially just 120 power, special fairy recoil. And then the coolest thing here for Magic Guard and the coolest reason to abuse Magic Guard is that Diamond Storm rework. So I changed Diamond Storm, the flavor for it. I can even read you the real description. Basically, it just says using its own gemstones, it summons a massive storm of diamonds. So it's basically like losing HP because it's using its own like supply, life force or whatever, right? To harness that storm of diamonds or whatever. Mineral Shower and Radiant Outburst function like Trickle Meteor. Those are also both really cool, like flavorful moves for like this, glittering gemstone type Pokemon. Those aren't unique or exclusive options, those last two. I just like mentioning them because they're really cool. Same with like Radiant Edge. I think that's super dope on Diancie and Carbink because of like the whole like diamonds, like cutting stuff, light, all that shit, right? Radiant Edge is just a crit move. It's the same power as Eternal Beam, but it can't be used twice in a row, which only really matters for like, I don't know, Trick Room stuff, if you want like 2 fairy moves in a row or something. Otherwise, Radiant Edge is a little bit better than Eternal Beam because it doesn't deal recoil. So that's why it's, almost 10 levels after you get the Eternal Beam TM. Magic Bounce Trick Room is insane. Magic Bounce Calm Mind's insane. Magic Bounce Encore is great. All of those are really awesome. Magic Bounce in general is great versus the leads on the AI because the AI is always gonna try to go for like taunts and stuff a lot of the time versus the lead or some other like status inflicting move like I don't know, a sleep move or a para move or something. So being able to bounce that back is awesome. You can click Iron Defense, Calm Mind, Encore, all those moves I just listed, right? It's super super useful, and the most important ones with Magic Bounce, and the reason it's kind of a little slightly broken ability on this guy is because of Trick Room and Rock Polish specifically, because you can get a free Trick Room off, and then you're slow. And if you need to underspeed something even more, you can always run Room Service too. And you're just, you have all sorts of coverage and high base power stab moves and stuff, and you can kind of get like 4 kills at least with Trick Room, ideally, because you're also very tanky. So that's super super fun. I put it at level 50 because I do Like, if I'm being real, I should swap Mineral Shower and Radiant Outburst, but I also like Magic Guard being encouraged with that Diamond Storm 140 power, because once you get Mineral Shower, there's not as much reason to use Magic Guard, Diamond Storm anymore. Um, I would say it kind of falls off towards the end of the game. Not as much. Like, obviously, for example, Magic Guard, Trick Room, or Rock Polish is great in conjunction with Diamond Storm and Eternal Beam, because those are spammable then, right? But the Mineral Shower not being spammable doesn't matter when it's a slow Pokemon if all you're trying to do is switch in, get a kill, and switch out, right? With like Quick Claw or something. So, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, Diancie super tanky, super fun. It also has some exclusive stuff like Encore, Draining Kiss, some sound moves like Alluring Voice and Disarming Voice, just because that makes no sense, right? Like Carbink doesn't have any lips or mouth to make like sounds or kiss with, so that's why it doesn't get like kissing moves like Dreamy Kiss and Draining Kiss as well. Um, but that's not like a huge deal. I mean, it's, you know, it would be cool if Carbink got Draining Kiss because it's so fat, but I just don't see it flavor-wise at all on Carbink. Actually, I never actually checked if Carbink gets it normally via TM. I might actually, if it, I'm pretty sure it doesn't, man. Yeah, it does not get Draining Kiss, and that's a TM in Gen 9. So anyway, yeah, Wish is really cool for early game, and then you get access to Set Amend, which is healing you by 2/3 HP in the sand, and it's just ground type recover. So it's even better than Wish because they don't get access to Protect for balancing reasons. If you're new here and you don't know why that is, read right here. You can pause right now and read this. That'll answer why Protect is gone for the most part. It's not completely gone, if you can read, but it's not on these guys at least. So yeah, Rock Polish is insane. Obviously, like weakness policy, Rock Polish is really strong too. I mean, there's so many ways to run this thing, right? Offensively and defensively, and just the great coverage I gave it, right? Like, I mean, it already has, Rock Fairy plus like Earth Power, but now it also has like Aura Sphere, which I have no idea why they didn't give it that normally. Aura Sphere, Flash Cannon, Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, Energy Ball, cool fitting coverage moves for like this legendary. You know what I didn't fucking talk about yet is why this thing even evolves to Diancie in the first place. I guess some people might not know. Um, yeah, so the Pokedex explicitly says that Diancie is like a sudden evolution of Carbink. It's like lore, right? It's not like an in-universe thing. It's like deep lore. Yeah, here we go. A sudden transformation of Carbink. So, making it an evolution makes sense, and it makes Carbink a lot more fun to use because it's got the Violet option for defense. And again, like I said earlier in the video, you can still use Rocky Helmet. The thing is, Item Clause is intended in this game, so if you have more than one NFE, which you very well may have, especially earlier in the game, but even later on, you might want to run a Violet on somebody else, and so you can, Carbink is still fat, regardless of a Violet or not. So you can still do like Rocky Helmet, Rough Skin, and just pivot around and sit there and heal and, stall things out that way. That's really good. Also, Ancient Power is great for that. Ancient Power drops attack and special attack by -1. Power Gem is just a reliable 90 power, no drawback move. Meteor Beam is pretty cool with Trick Room as well. I didn't mention that. Like Power Herb, Trick Room, Meteor Beam, insanely strong. Because you can get +1 special attack, and then you also blow something up, and now you have +1 and then +2 speed, or from Rock Polish, or the Trick Room is up. So those are all really strong too. Also, Rock Polish is kind of neat because it also gives you +2 accuracy now, so you can use that with Thunder and Focus Blast. Kind of niche, but getting like 125, 130 power electric and fighting moves there is kind of neat. Worth mentioning at least with Rock Polish. Dreamy Kiss, like I said, is pretty good as well. Oh, also Dreamy Kiss won't mess with Rock Polish up either, or with Wide Lens, but yeah, with Rock Polish you could do Dreamy Kiss stuff, which is kind of cool, if you want to put something to sleep, guaranteed. I think I've covered pretty much everything, but yeah, that Diamond Storm Magic Guard is super strong as well. Again, it's basically if you're using Magic Guard, it's basically just 140 power Rock type special close combat, because you're removing that actual drawback, which is the recoil. Because dropping your defenses isn't as big of a deal. Obviously, it's like, it is a drawback, but it's not like an insane one. Especially for like the player's purposes, it's pretty easy to exploit that. So yeah, or I guess just to play around the defense drops. Even recoil is easy to play around, but much less easy than defense drops. Mystical Fire is cool. What was I trying to say? Oh, Baton Pass. Yeah, so you do have a switch move as well on Baton Pass, minus priority as well, which is pretty cool on both Carbink and Diancie. Especially Carbink because it's just so fat with the Violet. If you just want like a slow, bulky pivot with like Rough Skin, so it's really up to you. Another cool thing Carbink can do especially well is Power Split. I mean, Diancie can do it too, but it's better early game. because they already have charm, of course, but power split will average your attack and special attack, and because your attack is only base 40, it's gonna like decrease their attack. But the beauty of power split is that it can't be crit through. Meanwhile, charm can be crit through, so that's pretty cool. And also, power split is priority to PP, so not only is it not able to be crit through, but it's also priority. So you can click it versus like a strong physical attacker, and then you can 1v1 them with rough skin. So power split's really cool there. I think I've covered pretty much everything I need to talk about, y'all. So make sure you drop a comment, drop a like if you made it to the end. I would really appreciate that. And I'll be back for more coming up, y'all. Peace.